Hello everyone, I'm Pacific and welcome back for another video of YouTube gaming channel tips. I still haven't come up with a name for this, but in this video we're going to talk about the Let's Player and whether you're basically it's the good mix of your focus on editing and recording. So when I mean Let's Player, I mean person that plays games across multiple episodes. So games like Civilization, Skyrim, Fallout, those are kind of examples of Let's Plays, you know, Unturned, Salt and Sanctuary, all those games that you could make a series out of. That's the kind of Let's Player that I'm focusing on. And we're just going to start off with the recording session. Now, when you do sit down to record this game, you need to have a little bit of an understanding of what happened previously. I've learned this the hard way. I've played a game and gotten lost multiple times. So make sure you have previous knowledge of what the last episode or even the last set of episodes basically were about. And then you also want to really have a plan of action for this episode, you know, to expand on what you're doing, not just, alright, I'm going to play the game and see what happens. Unless it is that kind of game. If it's the game where you just have to play it and see what happens, you know, of course you have to do that. But if it's a game where you can plan out what you're going to do, that's a really good strategy, is to plan out just a little bit what you're going to do, so that way it increases productivity and it gives the video a point of view and a topic to focus on. Because if you focus on a specific topic in that video or a specific dungeon or whatever, that's really going to benefit you. It's going to make the video a little more coherent and a little more easier to follow. That's about it for the recording session. Pretty much everything else you can think of is subjective to what kind of game you're playing, what you're doing with the game, and so on. But then we're going to talk about the editing, which can get a little dicey, basically related to whatever game you're doing. So you want to make sure that if you're in a new level or dungeon in the game, that you leave in more parts that allow people to understand the layout of the dungeon. So for instance, if I'm in a 10-minute dungeon and I only show 2 minutes of gameplay of that dungeon, everyone's probably going to get lost and have no idea where I am. And that can detract from the creator to user experience. Now, if it's like a re-raid of a dungeon or you go back to a level, you probably don't have to show level pieces. Still show a good amount if you haven't been to the level in a while. But if it's a new level, you definitely want to show the level, show the enemies. You basically want to make sure that the viewer understands how the level works and the layout of the level. You might be thinking, what should you do with cutscenes? And that's really up to you what you should do with cutscenes. You know, if it's a story-driven game where most people are going to be there for the story and not the gameplay, it's a really good idea to leave cutscenes in. But then if you're playing a game that everyone really knows and no one really cares about the story, basically because it's non-existent, you probably don't want to leave the cutscenes in, because then that's going to end up detracting from the video. Like I said, whereas opposite, if it's a story-driven game and you cut out the cutscenes, everyone's going to get pissed at you for doing that. Pretty much everything else in terms of editing is subjective to whatever game you're playing. You know, if I'm doing a Let's Play of the single player of Call of Duty, I probably don't need to leave cutscenes in. People are just there. Honestly, I could make it like a gaming highlights. Call of Duty is not really a Let's Play game, but if I'm playing a game like Salt and Sanctuary where it's got a lot of different levels and a lot of different levels that change quickly and a lot of different caverns within the levels and passageways, I should definitely leave more gameplay in that shows, just shows the level off, you know. Even if it's just silent parts of me running around through a door that I've never seen before, it's a really good idea to leave that in. So, thank you guys for watching this video. If you're new, subscribe. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, anything you can add to the discussion, you can say that in the comments below. If you want to support the channel beyond just watching the videos, I have an Amazon link, you can use that. And I get a little extra, no extra cost to you, but I get a little extra if you shop using that Amazon link. I'm Pacific. See you guys in the next episode of whatever I decide to make.